The airport hummed with its usual chaos. Boarding calls echoing overhead. Suitcases rattling across tile. Toddlers crying, and the rich scent of overpriced coffee drifting through the terminal. It was an ordinary Wednesday morning at Ronald Reagan Washington National Airport. Travelers rushed past one another, eyes fixed on screens, minds preoccupied with delays and connections. Then something unusual happened. A small group moved calmly through the crowd, Secret Service agents scanning the surroundings. At the center was Donald Trump, on his way to a private lounge before a flight to Florida for a town hall event. Conversations quieted as people noticed him. Near gate 23, he slowed. By the tall windows overlooking the runway sat a young girl, no older than 9, wearing an oversized red hoodie. She clutched a worn teddy bear in one arm while wiping tears with the other, trying and failing to appear invisible. Trump stopped walking. "Sir," an agent whispered, puzzled. He didn't respond. Instead, he changed direction and walked toward her. Nearby chatter softened into murmurs. Phones lifted discreetly. The girl looked up, startled, hugging her teddy tighter. She didn't recognize him, only that he seemed serious, yet gentle. "Hi there," he said, kneeling beside her. "Are you okay?" Her voice trembled. I lost my mom." He paused only briefly. "Well, let's find her together." The onlookers exchanged surprised glances. This wasn't what they expected. He extended his hand. After a hesitant moment, she placed her small fingers into his palm. "What's your name?" he asked. "Layla," she whispered. "Okay, Layla, we'll figure this out." Secret Service agents subtly repositioned themselves while airport staff approached uncertainly. Trump politely assured them they had it handled. "What's your mom's name?" he asked gently. Jessica Ray. She went to get coffee. She told me not to move, but I couldn't see her anymore." Within minutes, an announcement echoed through the terminal. "Attention passengers near gate 23. Jessica Ray, please report to the Delta Help Desk. Your daughter Layla is safe." Layla sat beside him, fidgeting anxiously. He nodded toward her teddy bear. "What's his name?" "Pickles," she said, managing a small smile. He smiled back. "Pickles seems very brave." 10 minutes passed. Layla's leg bounced nervously. Trump handed her a bottle of water. She took a shy sip. Then, from across the terminal, "Layla." A woman pushed through the crowd, eyes wide with panic, tears streaming. She dropped her coffee and rushed forward. "Mom!" Layla leapt into her mother's arms. Jessica fell to her knees, holding her daughter tightly, her voice breaking. "I thought I lost you. I'm so sorry." Trump stood quietly a few steps away, hands folded behind his back, watching the reunion with a softened expression. A gentle wave of applause moved through the terminal. Jessica finally looked up and froze in recognition. "You're—" He extended his hand with a warm smile. "Glad we could help." "I can't thank you enough," she said, overwhelmed. "No need. I just saw a little girl who needed her mom." Someone nearby had already uploaded a short video. It began circulating quickly. Politics set aside, the moment speaking for itself. As the crowd thinned, Jessica shared that they were returning home from her father's funeral, a Vietnam veteran who believed deeply in service and showing up for others. Trump nodded thoughtfully. Then this moment for him. Layla looked up. "Thank you, mister." "You can call me Donald," he said. "Like the duck?" she asked. He chuckled. "Sure, just like the duck." His flight was preparing to board, but he waved off the reminder. For now, he remained seated beside a grieving mother and her daughter in the middle of the busy airport. A journalist nearby approached carefully. "Why did you stop?" she asked. "With your schedule, your security?" He glanced at Layla and Jessica before answering. "Some things matter more than schedules. That girl needed someone." "May I quote that?" she asked. He smiled. "Just don't make me sound too soft." Later, as they stood near the coffee stand Jessica had left moments before, she spoke about raising Layla alone, about feeling overwhelmed, about grief layered on exhaustion. "Raising a child on your own," he said quietly, "takes more strength than most people realize." Then he did something unexpected. From his pocket, he pulled out a small gold coin worn smooth with age. An eagle was etched on one side, along with a single word, honor. My father gave this to me when I was about her age, he said. I've carried it for decades. He placed it gently into Layla's hand. She should have it now. A reminder she's protected. Jessica covered her mouth, moved beyond words. Layla examined the coin carefully, eyes wide. It's shiny, she said softly. And for a moment, in the middle of a busy airport filled with noise and movement, everything felt still. Trump bent down, so he was eye level with Layla once more. Keep it close, he told her gently. And one day pass it on to someone who needs it, just like you did. Jessica's eyes filled with tears. I don't even know what to say. You already did, he replied softly. You raised a brave little girl. Around them, phones continued recording, but no one interrupted. Even airport staff kept a respectful distance. One manager leaned toward an employee and whispered, 15 years working here. I've never seen anything like this. As the small gold coin caught the light in Layla's hands, something shifted in the terminal, not just for the girl and her mother, but for the strangers watching. For a brief moment, kindness cut through the usual noise of travel, politics, and grief. The final boarding call echoed overhead. Trump stood and straightened his coat. All right, Layla. Time for me to fly. She frowned. Will I see you again? He knelt one last time. Maybe. But even if you don't, remember this day. And when it's your turn, be kind to someone else. Jessica reached out to shake his hand, but he surprised her with a brief, warm hug instead. Nearby, journalist Rachel Lynn captured one final photo, an image that would soon circle the world. As Trump walked toward his gate, applause followed him. Not for politics, not for power, for humanity. By the time his plane lifted off, the story was already trending. Headlines called it the Gate 23 moment. The video Rachel posted quickly climbed past 2 million views. Commentators from every viewpoint agreed on one thing. Something real had happened that morning at Ronald Reagan Washington National Airport. Rachel's headline read, No speeches, just a coin. Meanwhile, Jessica and Layla boarded their own flight home. As they buckled in, Jessica turned the coin over in her fingers. Maybe not all power has to be loud, she whispered. Layla leaned against her. I think he's like a grandpa superhero. Jessica laughed softly through drying tears. A week later, Layla's teacher, Mrs. Green, asked her class to share a special moment from their week. Layla raised her hand. I met a man at the airport. He helped me find my mom. He gave me a coin for honor and kindness. Do you remember his name? Mrs. Green asked gently. Layla smiled. Donald. A few students giggled. No, not the duck, she clarified. The real one. Later, Mrs. Green searched online and gasped at what she found. Photos of Layla and Donald Trump on front pages everywhere. The school printed one of the images and framed it in the hallway. Let's remind them, Mrs. Green said, that kindness doesn't need a title. Rachel hadn't expected her article to travel so far. Messages flooded her inbox. This gave me hope. I cried reading this on the subway. Thank you for telling stories like this. One email stood out from a journalism professor. You didn't just capture a moment. You captured a heartbeat. Keep chasing stories like that. Rachel printed the photo and pinned it to her vision board. Underneath, she wrote, Truth without the noise. Back in Ohio, Jessica unpacked her father's folder flag and placed a coin beside it on a small shelf. Dad, she whispered, you would have liked him. She read aloud an old letter her father had once written. Never walk past someone who needs help. It doesn't matter who you are. What matters is who you choose to be in that moment. Layla listened quietly. Did Grandpa ever help lost kids? She asked. Jessica smiled. He helped soldiers who felt lost. That counts. Elsewhere, the captain who had flown Trump that day scrolled through the viral story during a break. That little girl, he said to his co-pilot, is why we left 10 minutes late. Anyone complaining? The co-pilot asked. He shook his head. Not a chance. I've flown VIPs for 20 years. Never seen one stop like that. He posted a simple message online. Time spent on kindness is never wasted. Thousands shared it. Letters began arriving for Jessica and Layla. One, and signed, read, I've been bitter for years, believing no one in power cares. Your story made me cry for the first time in a decade. Thank you for reminding me what hope looks like. Jessica held the letter close. We were just living, she whispered. But sometimes living honestly is enough to change a heart. At Mar-a-Lago, Trump sat quietly in his office one evening, holding a printed photo of Layla. He wasn't reviewing speeches or briefing papers. He was remembering her shy smile when she said, "Pickles!" An aide stepped in. "Sir, should we prepare for the rally?" "In a minute," he replied. "People are still talking about the airport moment." He nodded. "Good." Then more quietly, "Sometimes it's not about the crowd. It's about one kid, one mom." He slipped the photo into a drawer beside his cufflinks. Weeks later, a nonprofit called Hearts in Transit contacted Jessica. Inspired by the story, they wanted to launch the Layla Coin Project, providing emergency kits and small tokens of encouragement to families traveling in crisis. "Does that mean more kids will get help?" Layla asked, peeking over her mother's shoulder. "Yes," Jessica said, "because you were brave." "I'm going to make Grandpa proud," Layla replied, and she already had. Teachers across the country began using the story in classrooms. One middle school civics teacher in Colorado wrote on the board, "What does leadership really look like?" "Making laws," one student said. "Being powerful," said another. A quieter voice offered, "Helping a crying kid." The teacher smiled. "Exactly." A year later, Jessica and Layla returned to Gate 23 at Ronald Reagan Washington National Airport. Mounted on the wall was a small bronze plaque in honor of everyday courage and unexpected kindness. Gate 23, 2024. A janitor recognized them. "You're the mom from the video, right?" "That plaque's my favorite part of this terminal." Layla wore the coin in a tiny locket around her neck. She held it up. "Still shiny," she whispered. "Just like you," Jessica said, kissing her forehead. Back in Florida, Trump received a package. Inside was a photo of Layla and Jessica standing beside the plaque. The note read, "Dear Donald, you told her to pass the coin forward someday. It never left us. It just multiplied. Because of that day, hundreds of families have received help. You didn't just help a lost child. You helped many of us feel found. With love, Jessica and Layla." Trump looked at the photo for a long time, and in the quiet of the room, far from cameras and crowds, he smiled. Sometimes the loudest legacy is made in a whisper.